Good afternoon, CFM. This is Coach Matt with our Monday workout. This is a very challenging workout we're going to do today. Let's begin with a relatively longer warm-up. It's going to be 2 rounds. The first round start with 3 minutes of cardio. Second round start with 2 minutes of cardio. I'd like to be getting to the squats somewhere around 20 minutes after the start of the class. And then the three sets of squats should only take like 12, 13 minutes if we do it correctly. So feel free, take your time on the warm-up and then add in whatever warm-up squats you want to add after the warm-up's done. But when you finish your 3 minutes and your 2 minutes of cardio, set up your band near the ground for our band hamstring curls. Another one we'll do later on this week is some Nordic curls if you'd like to do that. It's a fantastic way to get the hamstrings firing and warmed up. I'm just pulling my heels towards my butt. Posterior chain engagement is one of the keys for good squats, and a lot of times we tend to be on our toes, which puts the weight always on the quads, and the joint load is on the knees, right? So the more that we can light up the backside, glutes, hamstrings, the better off your squat's gonna be, okay? We're gonna do 2 other on the ground hip openers or hip warm-ups. So these are all for the glute medius and the piriformis, as well as the joint capsule of the hip. So you can see we're trying to get really well prepared for our squats today, and all of these are good ones to mix in, but our 5-way hips is gonna be 8 reps per side. I'm gonna say 8 reps per exercise, 40 reps per side. So starting with the leg raise, toe pointed down, top leg behind the bottom leg, circles rear, circles forward, big leg swings is number 4, and bicycle pedals is number 5. You should feel a good burning sensation on that outer butt and hip when you get done with that. And then we can go to our seated position. We're doing our seated hip swivels. And the more you sit into this position, like leaning your arms or reaching your arms out forward, the more it will challenge the hip mobility. But try to get the top of the knee to the bottom of the foot. And I've got my legs a little bit inside 90. We'll try to keep them around 90 degrees as the optimal angle to get as much of a stretch in both directions. You can feel free to stop at any time and really like lean into it if you feel a good stretch or something that you feel like is a sticking point, right? And then after that, we'll go into our front squats and back squats. So front squat is the movement of the day. I always say, like, if it hurts your wrists in such a bad way that it feels like it's not good for you, like if you can't straighten your hand out, or if it's like so much pain that it's causing you to drop the bar, just scrap it. Don't worry about it. The focus for today is 20 challenging reps in a row without stopping. And without stopping, I just mean without putting it back into the rack, okay? So for front squat, I use my tips and then walk into it until it touches my throat, and then I press my elbows away from my body, right? And I would like to see a 90-degree angle between the elbows and my upper torso when I initiate that movement, right? The depth and the range of motion are all standard, right? So hips below parallel and then lock out at the top. And if I can finish my 20, then I should bump up the next set a little bit, all right? So I gave you a range of percentages on this. The first set, generally when we do a 20 rep front squat, the first set should be the hardest set if you are going for a max. And if you know your max front squat, then usually you cap out in that 65 to 70% range, which sounds crazy. We don't have 10 rep calculators for your maximum number of reps at that percentage, right? 20 reps is way outside the boundaries of what we would normally do for strength training. And that's why it's so potent and so beneficial, because it's possible, right? And I've done it before. My best front squat 20 rep max is like 72% of my, at that time, 1 rep max. And I remember getting to rep number 13 and saying, there's no way I'm not gonna be able to finish it. Just take a breath, do another rep. Take a breath, do another rep. By the time you get to like 16, 17 reps, you're gonna be so close that you're gonna really, really want to finish that set. Try not to drop it. And then you really gotta just fight with the elbows in order to get those last couple reps in. Because what fails at the end of the front squat, usually it's not your legs, it's usually your core or your posture that fails at the end of it. And that's really why this is so potent for building that postural strength and muscle endurance in holding that position. The same is true for the back squat. It's a little bit harder to get out of a back squat. In front squat, you just drop it in front of you. Back squat, you'll have to ditch it behind you, right? But either way, it's a very potent training tool. We don't use very often because a lot of people don't like it the way that it makes them feel, right? But it is very, very good to do this every once in a while. So 3 sets, think in that range of like 3-ish minutes per rest in between. And then the set itself should take you close to a minute, maybe even longer than that. It is okay to stand there and kind of stamp your feet out, right? And get some fresh blood in there, and then go down and do another rep, and then step your feet a little bit, but try not to put it back into the rack during the 20 reps. So that means 20 reps without getting back in the rack. All right, when you're done with that, I have some low intensity active recovery stuff that you can do. I have 4 rounds through, but there's no need to feel like you have to do 4. I would say do as many as you feel like doing, and then leave like 6-7 minutes to do some foam rolling, especially on the quads when you're finished with this workout. But active recovery, just 500 meter row, active recovery pace, then some ring rows. So about rib cage height, and down and pull up. Right, and then 4 reps of a 5 count up down push up. So that means in my push up position, whether you're using a bench or an incline position, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, etc. So do that for 4 reps, 5 count down, 5 count up, and then 8 reps of a walking lunge to toe touch. So just lunge and back up, touch the toe, lunge, back up, touch the toe. And that will be it. Just very, very light recovery pace on that post-workout stuff. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on Tuesday.